official 1102 podcast? What the hell? What the hell, Leonte? What the hell, LeBron James? Is that still going to be relevant whenever I post this? I don't know. But it's actually not even relevant anymore as I'm saying it. So probably not. Hey guys, welcome to the 1102 podcast. You might be wondering, why are you all of a sudden rebranding? You're so crazy. Everyone's asking me, why are you rebranding? All of my comments are like, oh my gosh, rebrand. And I'm like, guys, stop. If you are a YouTube watcher, listener of the podcast, I decided to put my podcast on Spotify as well, so people didn't have to look at my face while they listen to me talk, or you can listen to it on the go more easily. And, oh my god, I actually have to be so honest. There was a fly, like one of those like fruit flies that like everyone gets. Okay, like I live in an apartment, I leave my balcony door open, like everyone gets a fruit fly every now and then. It was crawling on my computer screen, but I thought it was my cursor moving, and I just got so scared of that happening. Anyways, I wanted to put my podcast. Guys, I just recorded 10 minutes of me talking, and I said I'm going to restart, and it's just already, I'm distracted, I'm confused, I'm scared. I wanted to put my podcast on Spotify, but to do that, you kind of like have to give it a name. Like it has to be titled. It was like, give your podcast a name. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to name it. So I decided to go with 1102, which, can you guess what that is? Yes, it was the time that I was born. And I also have it tattooed on my arm, just right back here. And it's probably one of my least favorite tattoos. Like, I like the idea of it, but it is kind of annoying to be like, that's the time I was born. Yeah. And people are always like, what happened at 1102? And I'm like, a star was born. It's just like kind of a weird thing to bring up. I don't know. It seems self-centered and narcissistic, but I kept trying to make my tattoos have meaning for like the longest time. Maybe one day I'll go into a breakdown of my tattoos, but I don't really want to do that today. And it's just like I was trying to do anything to make my tattoos have meaning. And now I'm kind of weaning off of that, but still keeping it in the back of my mind, you know? So that's one thing where I was like, this is something that's never going to change. It's always going to be true to me. So I'm going to get the time that I was born tattooed on myself. And I do like the time that I was born. I tend to look at my phone a lot whenever it is the time I was born. So that's always a fun little thing I have going on. But yeah, honestly, not feeling great right now. I haven't washed my hair in 4 days. I'm a little bit sick, like kind of in my throat. I've been working 6 days in a row, so I'm exhausted. Also, I was like working 6 days in a row, and then I was like, okay, I have a day off. I need to get shit done. But where's my stamina? It's gone because I'm just like, my social battery's dead. And here I am recording a podcast. It's 9 p.m. This is usually about the time I go to bed. But I don't know, felt like I wanted to talk about some things that have been on my mind as of late. So basically, I haven't washed my hair in 4 days, like I said, and I've been wondering, I feel the most confident when I wash my hair and I blow dry it. Should I start washing it more often? Because if I do that, then it's going to look worse after like one day. Or do I keep doing like twice a week situation? Because that's what everyone says to do. But I don't, like, once it gets to day 3 and 4, I'm like, I'm the ugliest person to exist on this planet. You know what I mean? Maybe I just need to find better solutions for day 3 and 4 hair. But especially right now, I've been like out of dry shampoo and I just feel, okay, not good. But yeah, another thing that's been on my mind recently is listening to your body or being lazy. And something I've been saying a lot recently is it gets to a point, and I don't know if I created that or if I got that from somewhere, but it truly does get to a point where it's like, okay, you are no longer listening to your body when you're eating an entire bag of chips. You know, you're no longer listening to your body when you're sleeping in until 10 a.m. every day. 10 a.m. is not even that late, but you know what I mean? It's like I keep snoozing, I keep munching, I keep not drinking water, I keep doing bad things, and then everyone around me wants to be like, because you're listening to your body. You're listening to what your body needs. And I'm like, no, I'm actually just being a lazy fuck. And also, today I was checking my horoscopes, and I was on Cafe Astrology, which my coworker and bestie Jen was like, oh, you should look into this. I think you would really like it. So I started reading into it, and it basically breaks down your entire chart from sun, moon, rising, planet. And tell me why it basically said I was born lazy. I had to look up some of these words, and it basically used 3 different words that said, you're lazy. Okay. Okay. Honestly, I recommend everyone goes to their cafe astrology and looks it up because it basically just validates everything you do wrong as a person or everything that's bad about you. It said that in relationships, I'm very jealous and possessive. It says that I fall in love too quickly, and I'm a romantic. Honestly, but it said a lot of good things about me. It was like, you're a good person. Everyone likes you. You're a social butterfly. Okay! One day I'm going to do a breakdown of it for everybody so you can see how awesome I am. It also says I had a magnetic energy, and not to be like corny as hell, but I always have felt that. Like, I always have felt like people gravitate towards me in a really weird way. Or like, a lot of places, I don't want to talk about this because I don't want you to think I'm saying it in the wrong way, but like a lot of the places I go, I have people look at me and like make eye contact with me and smile at me and like da 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 da. And I don't know, it's always just felt like people just feel safe with me, or like even just random strangers that I serve at work like always start a conversation with me and stuff, and it's a really good feeling. I don't know. Anyways, I didn't mean to get sidetracked there or talk about anything of that. I don't like want that to be taken in the wrong way, but I've always felt like I have a magnetic energy, and it basically said verbatim, you have a magnetic energy. So yeah, that's really awesome, right? So go look that up. It's going to say some nice things about you too. I'm not just going to talk about myself here, okay? Go look yours up. Cafe astrology. Know what time you were born, know where you were born, know your birthday. That's all you basically need. Basically, yeah. I've just been very lazy recently. And I'll have a day where I'm like the most productive person ever, and then I'll have a day where I'm the least productive person ever. And it's just like, I wish I could find more of a routine and balance. And I was really beating myself up over this the other day about like waiting for something to happen for my life to get better. And I was watching this YouTube video in the gym the other day, and she literally said verbatim, like, I always kept saying like, once I move here, or once I get this, or once this happens, I'm going to feel better, or I'm going to feel happy. And she was like, I needed to just stop living for the future and start living in the moment. And she was saying all these words, and I like actually started crying on the treadmill, because if that's not how I've lived my entire life, I dwell on the past all the time. I think about the future all the time. I always say, when this happens and this happens, I'll feel this way in a more positive sense. And especially with the idea of me moving back to San Diego recently, we all know San Diego is like my favorite place ever, and it's the place I want to be and the place I want to live. I talk about this every week. But it's like, I keep saying that, like, when that happens, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to start doing this. But like, why can't I do those things right now? Why can't I feel those things right now? Do I partially think that it's true? Yes. But do I want to wait around for months on end for my life to feel better? No. So it's like, why don't I just take charge of what I can right now and change it and to do better? But I am really, really struggling with just like, I don't know, my living space is making me kind of go insane. Being in a studio apartment, I really, really enjoy it, but also like the lack of separation and the fact that I'm looking at my sink of dishes right now and my pile of Depop clothes on my couch, like I am losing my mind just a little bit, which is normal. But it's also like, I don't know. I just think it's going to be better whenever I'm in the city I feel more comfortable in, of course. But also, I don't want to wait around for that to happen. So I don't know if that resonated with anybody, but maybe you needed to hear that today too, is that I'm just, and that's also, did I say that? Like, it said on my astrology thing that I am so bad at living in the present. And it really, really like emulated exactly what I was telling my coworker the other day about, like, I just keep thinking like, when I do this or when I get this, things will be better. So trying to be more cautious about that, and working to just make my life, like coming up with a routine that's balanced and that I can maintain for a longer period of time, because I keep going to the extreme and then the next day I'm exhausted. And it's like, I just need to find a better system. Also, I think like I need supplements or something. I'm just kind of talking out loud now, but I think I need like iron pills. I just don't have the energy I used to, which is, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what part of myself needs to change to have energy that sustains me throughout the day. Does that make sense? So if you guys have any like hacks to that, let me know. But also, this kind of leads into what I want to talk about today. So what I want to talk about today, and this is where a lot of people are going to go, bye-bye, clicking off, good night, bye your life, because we're going to be talking about why is it so hard to be a woman, other than the obvious. And we're going to be talking specifically about the women's cycle. The woman's cycle. Holy moly donut shop. Holy moly donut shop. Holy moly. I don't want to talk about the other reasons why it's hard to be a woman. I want to talk about this one specifically because I didn't learn about this until last year. Okay, I didn't really tap in until last year. And there are so many women who don't even know what this is all about, what their cycle is like, what the phases of their cycle is, what the phases of their cycle are. Ugh, I don't know. You got me there. You got me there, you guys. But basically, this controls a woman's mood for the entire month. And I have really tapped into this recently. I just stuttered really hard. I've really tapped into this recently because it's been so much more comforting to know where I am in my cycle and what I'm feeling and how validating it is. Basically, it's like what I meant today whenever I went on the horoscope website, where it was like so validating of everything that I experienced, because it was like, oh, you are like this, because of where the freaking moons were. Like, how true is that? I don't know. But it was pretty accurate to how I carry myself, in really niche ways. So it's just like in therapy, when I used to go to therapy, it was literally just validation. I would be like, I feel this. And she's like, well, it's because this happened to you when you were 12. And I was like, you're so right. And then I would just leave feeling better. Like, all I needed in therapy was somebody to be like, you're not crazy, you're valid, and you're also beautiful. She never said that though. But you know what I mean? It's like, that's what therapy is in a sense. And a part of it is just like validation so you can feel comforted and then move on. You know what I mean? So I think that knowing the cycle and knowing where you are in your cycle and what comes with that, it's so comforting, and you can be more gentle with yourself and less harsh, because the drastic changes a woman's body goes through in a 28-day cycle is insane, and it can lead you to just kind of lose your mind over it. I hyperfixate on this a lot, which could be a bad thing, but it's also a good thing. But ever since learning about the cycle, it's like I can justify why I'm feeling a certain way, or I can be kinder to myself whenever I'm feeling a little bit bloated or I'm breaking out. And it's like, whenever you know why those things are happening, it's so much easier to deal with. But it's also something that really, really can take over a woman's life, which we're going to get into. The most important thing to note is that a woman's cycle is 28 days, an entire month. We all know about like the 28-day cycle, whatever, the period, whatever. A man's cycle is going to be 24 hours. So that's why I think they're much more capable of just staying neutral, staying the same. You know what I mean? And I looked it up, and it says men have daily hormonal cycles that are centered around testosterone levels. These hormonal fluctuations can affect mood, energy, and sexual desire. This is the same way for women, but instead of being 24 hours, it's stretched over the entire month, 28 days. So it's different with estrogen rather than testosterone, which is what we are going to be talking about today. And it's basically the estrogen cycle within your body, if I'm correct. I'm getting all this information from the internet and things that I've read and things that I've looked into. I don't know if these are 100% true, but they're pretty close. And then they're basically all the things that I tell myself and I know to make myself feel better, because it is a very validating cycle to know about, especially if you are a woman, or if you are a man watching this, you should. If you are interested in women, or if you have women in your life, it's easier to understand why they may act the way that they do based on where they are in their cycle. And I'm not saying this like, oh, you're being a bitch. Are you on your period? Are you on your period? You being a bitch? If you knew fucking anything, you would know that the luteal phase is where it sucks. The luteal phase is where you don't want to meet me. You do not want to catch me in my luteal phase. You can talk to me on my period. Come on. Do not talk to me when I'm in my luteal phase, which lasts for like 2 weeks. So just don't even try me during that time. I'm going to be a bitch. Because I'm going through stuff. I'm going through things. I'm going through a lot. So let's just start from the freaking beginning. This is going to start with your menstruation phase of your cycle. So this is going to last 5 to 7 days, right? This is going to be your period. We all know what the period is, what comes with the period, the bleeding, the cramping. But this is going to be the release of an egg, okay? This is going to be the release. Yes. We all know this. So at this moment, you are going to be bloated. You're going to be tired. You're going to be feeling really low and really down, and like you don't want to do anything. And what they recommend that you do is exercise. No, like No, that's not what you want to do during this time. And that's the craziest thing about the cycle as well. Let me sit up while I talk about this, because the craziest thing about the cycle that you will learn is that you're supposed to be doing things you have the least motivation to do during that time. So there's times of the month where you feel sexy, beautiful, strong, and confident. That doesn't really matter, like what you're doing in your day-to-day life. Like, you can do stuff, but especially when you're at your lowest points, they're like, do this, exercise, all the things you don't feel like doing during the times of the month where you have your lowest energy and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm explaining this very, very well or very scientifically, but it's going to be very straightforward, okay? So we have the period. That's going to be 5 to 7 days, you know? It varies from person to person. So then, you know how you feel on your period. Like, I don't really need to explain that. After your period is going to be your follicular phase. Don't know if I'm saying that right. So this is going to be 4 to 5 days long, okay? Your estrogen increases once your period ends. So whenever you have more estrogen, you have more energy. You're more upbeat. You can get things done. You can do the things you wanted to do. You can mark things off your to-do list. You can run miles that you couldn't run last week while you were on your period, you know? Your body just feels like it's in like the most, almost its peak form, basically. And you feel like you can finally get things done. And oftentimes when I'm in my follicular phase, this is whenever I'm like, I'm going to get on YouTube. I'm going to post 3 times a day on TikTok. I feel like the most inspired. Like, most of the times I post on an app is when I'm in this cycle, because I also feel like I look better. I feel better. I'm getting shit done. Like, overall, you can do hard things. No, but this is the time where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm literally incredible and beautiful and smart and strong and awesome. Like, your self-talk is so up at this point. And then that also leads into ovulation. This ovulation phase is like 4 to 5 days, but there is going to be a peak day. So, like, this is what I mean whenever girls are like, I don't look like myself. Girls will always say, I don't look like myself, but there's one day that I wake up and I look like myself again. This is why. This is why I don't leave it's because during this time, your face is going to look more symmetrical. You're glowing, you're shining, you're radiating this aura, okay? Your testosterone is up, which I don't really know what all of this means. I got this from like the internet, but it's your testosterone is up, so you are more alert and clear-headed, and you're just more fertile if you're looking to have a baby, or you're sexy, you're social, you're optimistic, you're making plans with your friends, you're going to birthday parties, you're going out to the club, you're feeling like you're snatched. Also, like, I'm gonna talk about this because it applies to a personal situation that I go through a lot, and that's gonna be body dysmorphia. I think this is a leading cause of body dysmorphia in women because your body changes severely every single month. Okay, whenever you're on your period, you're about 5 to 10 pounds heavier than you are whenever you're in your follicular phase. The other day I called my mom and I said, I did it. I'm small. I said, I feel very confident in my body right now. Like, look at me. And I was kind of showing off. And 2 days later, I felt like shit about myself. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Like, it sucks feeling this way and experiencing these up and downs, and they create mood swings and everything like that because you don't know what your body looks like at a general sense. And you also just can't keep the same mood up, and you kind of start to feel crazy. And for a lot of people, this isn't like as severe, but I feel like for me personally, like the way I feel during these days versus the next week, I'm completely different people and I can't keep up the same person. And maybe I should look into that a little bit more. I don't know. But ovulation, like, you feel hot, you feel beautiful, you feel confident, you feel strong. You're like, oh my gosh, everything about you just feels so good, and you're able to get things done, and you have energy. And this is also whenever, if you're in the category of cycle syncing, this is when they recommend doing like your hardest workouts, your HIIT workouts, your high intensity, you know, because you feel amazing, and you're like, yeah, I can do that. Oh my God, I'm gonna run 1,000,000 miles. And then it's the day of your ovulation. So ovulation is going to be an egg. Okay, I could be wrong, but she was also saying this when I went to the gynecologist, if you even care. But you also lose an egg on each side. So I think the ovulation is losing the egg, and then and then the period is the result. I don't know if that's true, but basically you lose an egg, and this lowers your estrogen significantly, okay? And this is going to cause a sudden hormonal change, which is going to mess with you, girl. This is going to mess with you. So if we're thinking about a 28-day map, this is going to be about the middle, the 14th day. And switching from like a really high estrogen to a really low estrogen is going to mess with your head. It's going to fuck with everything that you just experienced, because you felt motivated to do X, Y, and Z. You felt like you could conquer the world. You had these rash ideas of being like, I don't know, a public figure of some sorts. And now you're like, I don't recognize myself when I look in the mirror. My body looks different than it did a couple days ago. I feel sluggish. I feel tired. I can't do the things I used to. My body's starting to hurt before my period comes. And this is like also leading into your luteal phase. So like I said earlier, your luteal phase is a bitch. Your luteal phase is going to be probably the worst time of the month. And guess what? It lasts 11 to 14 days. Up to 2 weeks of feeling unmotivated, not cute. Like you don't look like yourself. You don't know what your body looks like. And you don't feel amazing because your body just went from the top of the world to the bottom of the trenches. Top of the world to the bottom of the ground. I don't know. So you're sluggish. Your emotions are intensified, okay? And you feel all over the place. This also causes you to be oily because of some testosterone. I don't know if testosterone's high or low, but it causes you to be really oily. So you're breaking out. These are like the common ideas of PMS. But what you don't realize is that PMS is stretched out over a 2-week period. For some people, this is really, really intense. For some people, it's not. But I can immediately tell when this change happens in my body, because all of a sudden I'm like, what's going on with my face? Why am I breaking out in places I've never broken out before? Why am I so bloated waking up in the morning? And there's so many things that lead to you being so hard on yourself. And you're like, oh my gosh, I was doing everything right. And you're like, it's not working out. I'm washing my face every night. Why am I breaking out? And can you imagine just like the emotional turmoil of what this can do to a person's head? Because I see it firsthand so many times, girls will literally beat themselves up over like the natural weight gain that comes with getting your period. And it sucks because you're like, I don't know why this is happening. Like, obviously everyone expects to be bloated on their period, but what they don't expect is for that to start happening 2 weeks before it happens. And then you realize that you only feel good about yourself as a woman about 10 days of the month. Like, through your hormone changes and your hormone imbalances, your hormones are in their best spot like 10 days of the entire month. So in a year, just putting this into perspective, women get about 120 days to feel their best out of 365. Can you freaking imagine? You couldn't imagine. You could not imagine. Am I saying that all women just stop and give up whenever the luteal phase happens? No, because we're women and we can do hard things. Yeah! Let's go, girls! Yeah! But no, literally, like, the amount of pain I feel whenever I'm on my period at work, and I'm like, none of these men know what it's like to be working under the conditions I'm under right now, because I'm not even making a big fucking deal about it. But it's just like, you do feel less motivated. You do like feel like you lost all sense of purpose, and this could lead to depression and all of those things in just a 2-week span, okay? It's like seasonal depression once a month. And it truly is a terrible, horrible, difficult thing to experience. But what's even worse is not understanding why it's happening. And for the longest time, like, this was really, really controlling over my life. And I was always just so back and forth with myself, being like, I looked so good last week, and this week I don't look the same way that I used to, and I don't know why my face is changing and my body's changing, and I'm breaking out now, but I'm not doing anything differently. And you just start questioning everything about yourself, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing? What am I doing? You're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong, sweetie. Stop. You're not doing anything wrong. It's your body being normal. God forbid. But it truly does really, really bother me now when I see girls and people I know beating themselves up over these things that happen every single month in a woman's body. And it has become such a comforting thing to understand why they're happening, why I'm feeling this way, and almost thinking to myself and saying, okay, I am in my luteal phase, but how am I going to treat myself kind enough to where I can be able to get things done while feeling this way? You know what I mean? Because you don't want to completely just listen to your body and be like, okay, I am not going to do anything today. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to eat. I'm going to do all this. Because also, the other thing I forgot to mention is that during your luteal phase, the pits of hell, during that phase where you feel terrible about yourself, you don't feel confident, you don't feel like stepping into a gym, you don't feel like eating healthy, you're having cravings. You're craving all the bad things. You just want to be lazy. They say, oh, you should eat healthy, work out, reduce sugar, and reduce caffeine. Let's talk about that. So eating healthy and working out are already things that you do not want to do when you're in your luteal phase or on your period. And those are the things that they suggest you do to feel better. So it's like, to feel better while I'm experiencing this horrible thing that happens in my body, I have to do the things I want to do the least. Oh my God, make that make sense. And then on top of that, you're having more cravings. Okay, you're craving all the bad things. You're craving sugar. You're craving sweets. They say reduce your sugar if you actually want to feel good. But that's what you're craving. But that's what you want the most. You didn't say to reduce my sugar whenever I felt my best. What? And they also say reduce your caffeine. And this is whenever you feel you're most tired. You feel sluggish. You feel fatigued. You feel all of those things. And they're like, but don't have caffeine, babe. So it's just like your body is reacting one way, and to make it feel better is to not listen to it sometimes. So I think that's also why it's like, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to do with myself, because everything I do to try to combat these feelings is kind of wrong in a sense. And resting and listening to your body, maybe that's not what it needs. Maybe it needs to move. And, oh, I'm craving ice cream, but you need to reduce your sugar. I'm not saying that this is something that you have to do, but it is just like, the times you need to show up for yourself the most are the times that you physically are experiencing hormonal imbalances that make you not want to do that. And that's basically why I think it's so hard to be a woman. I mean, despite literally all the other reasons that are very loud and clear, but it's like, we go through these things we were not taught this. We were not taught this at all in school. And I thank God for TikTok for teaching me about my cycle, the phases, everything like that. Because without that silly little Chinese app, is it Chinese? Is TikTok Chinese? I was right. Without that app on my phone, I would not know half the things I know that comfort me in a way like no other. You know what I mean? It's like when you find out that you've been feeling a certain way because you have a disease of some sort or a condition of some sort, and it kind of just gives you all the answers that you need. I just hate it when I see women not giving themselves grace and treating themselves with care whenever they need to the most, because those are the times when you want to beat yourself up and you want to put yourself down and you don't feel confident and you don't feel good. And it's just like that overall mental battle that you go through whenever you don't have confidence and you don't have like the drive to get things done. You just want to beat yourself up. You want to just feed into it a little bit. Maybe you want to eat bad. Maybe you want to skip the gym. Maybe you just feel like giving up completely because it's like everything you're doing is not working. This stressful, oh my gosh. It's like the changes that are happening in our body are already causing us enough stress and enough disparity. But then also feeling all of those things kind of creates more chaos for yourself, especially if you're not a stable, confident person and you do struggle with insecurity a little bit more. Then these times of the months could be really, really hard on you for the way that you're reacting to the way your body's reacting to the natural processes that are going on inside of it. So basically, I say all of this to encourage you guys to be very, very gentle with yourselves, to learn more, to study more. And I think overall, this is just like a message to figure out why things are a certain way more often, because then that could be way more validating in your life. I don't know why, but like anytime I've had validation of something that I've felt or something that happened to me, or in any sense of the word, it just kind of goes back to like having the security and validation of knowing why something happened, or why you feel a certain way, or why something is the way it is. Then it's like, okay, I know this now. I can move on with the knowledge to better understand it. And I think that heavily goes for your own body and body-mind connection, mind to muscle connection. I'm kind of just talking out of my ass. It's really past my bedtime, you guys. But especially when it comes to you and yourself, because you are your own worst enemy. You are your own worst critic. And especially when your temple, your body, is out of your control and you decide to beat yourself up over that. Oh, my wrist just popped. I wonder if you heard that. It just, I don't know. Because I do it all the time. But I also know when to have grace with myself. And I've found myself to be even more confident on my period now, because I know that my body is working in a way that's positive for me, and I know what's happening inside my body. Did you guys know? I think I saw this diagram and it was like your uterus grows 3 times its normal size when you're on your period, and that's why you're bloated. I don't know if that's true, but it's like a really, really big, it's a huge change for your body to go through every single month. Okay, I've been talking in circles, so now I've decided to get into the ChatGPT portion of this episode, because what would I be without it? Today we're going to talk about fun facts about your period that you should know. So this actually isn't a fun fact, but you'll have about 4... I'm going to start crying. And I'm going to have grace with myself because I'm in my luteal phase. It says you'll have about... Oh my God, why am I going to cry? It says you'll have about 450 periods in your lifetime. That's horrible. That's horrible. Oh my God. What? The average period only releases about 2 to 3 tablespoons of blood? No way. That is 1 trip to the toilet for me, I swear. Some of y'all must, like, the average, some of y'all must be on the low end, because that cannot be true. And how much does an ultra hold? Because I'm going through that bitty in an hour. Anyways, your voice may change during your cycle. I didn't know that. I'm going to use that now. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to be like, guys, do I sound different? It's because I'm on my period. Also, everyone around me will always know when I'm on my period. I make it everyone's problem. And no one ever treats it as they should. I think they should bow down on their knees a little bit more and shower me with gifts and presents and chocolates, you know? But actually don't give me chocolate because I'm supposed to reduce my sugar intake. Thank you. Okay, do you guys believe in syncing cycles? I don't know if I do, because I've lived with women and we don't sync. So how do you sync cycles with somebody? Pheromones. It says pheromones. Oh my gosh. Oh, I read that wrong. Guys, I've been reading all my text messages wrong recently. And I feel like such a bitch, because I'll read a text message wrong and then I get mad at them for it. And then I read it again and I go, oh, that's not what that said at all. Why do I've been doing that recently. Also, I've been really cloudy and not clear-headed. So I don't know why I decided to film this podcast today, where I have to sound my most sophisticated and intelligent, but I did. But this says sharks aren't actually more likely to attack you on your period, but obviously I read it as sharks are actually more likely. Wrong. Whoa, tampons have been around since ancient Egypt. You burn more calories on your period. So, okay, your metabolism speeds up during the luteal phase. Oh! Wait, this is good. This is tea. Your metabolism speeds up during the luteal phase, so that's why you're craving more. You have more snack cravings because your metabolism is actually faster. Guys, this is actually good stuff. Oh, animals menstruate. I think we knew that because of, like, dogs do that. But bats and primates. Oh, I can see, like, a monkey. a little monkey ting on her period. Your period can influence your dreams. I want more. Let me get one more list, and then we'll just call this wraps, okay? Because I don't know who's listening till this point. Oh my gosh, me and my dad were talking about this. It says some Olympic athletes train through their periods. Like, no, we have to do a ton of shit during our periods. But my dad was talking about, like, women's sports, and especially whenever it's, like, a singular woman in a position, like, on a tennis team or something. Like, that can probably affect your game so much, I feel like. Even me as a woman, I'll say that. It's like, if you're experiencing worse symptoms and worse mental clearness, like, I wonder how many more women win games in their follicular ovulation phase than in their luteal phase or on their menstrual cycle. That's something to think about. I think about that all the time now. Period poop! Period poop is totally real. I love my period because, as we all know, I've shared this on the internet, I have trouble pooping. And so I always look forward to my period for the purpose of me shitting. That's legit TMI, but it's okay. Yeah, that's actually all the things that interest me about periods from the fun facts list. I've been wanting to talk about this because it's something I truly think about on a day-to-day basis and something I share with all my friends and stuff. So I hope this was slightly interesting if you are a beautiful girl out there, or somebody that experiences menstruation, or somebody that just wanted to understand more about the subject. A little bit more of a serious one. Sorry, I couldn't be as funny today, but I did want to show you guys that I do have brains and boobs. There's a brain behind these boobs. I'm so tired. I'm gonna go to bed, get TV ready. Did I tell you guys about the TV thing? I can't remember if that was in the part that I cut or not, but I might be on TV tomorrow for a short period of time. But it's probably going to be like Mike Wazowski when Mike Wazowski was on the TV and they, like, cropped him out. That's going to be me. There's a TV show filming, whatever. It's not about me. It's about somebody else. I just might be in the back. Anyways, I don't want to say too much. That's not my business. It's not my business to share. I love you guys. I will see you later. Also, podcasts will be posted at 11:02 now. And I might stick with Wednesdays, just maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I love you guys, okay? How many times do I have to say it? Jeez, stop it. And I will talk to you next week. If you're at this point and you have topics you think I should talk about, please let me know personally. Like, text me, because if you got to this point, I know you have my phone number, okay? Love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.